It's finally time to admit it, guys. This was my last NBA tier list I did maybe a week or two ago, and it is really bad. I think I made a tier list before the season started, and it's hard to tell how teams are going to do. And so ever since then, I tried to not move teams too much from where they were originally. So like I was like right or whatever. Like that's why the Clippers are still in playoffs. That's why Indiana Pacers are even in this. But I'm gonna fix that up today. We're gonna clear it up, start anew. Um, I realize my mistakes. I realize I was wrong, and I'm going to adjust accordingly. So this is my tier list for this week. I try to do them every week, every other week. Again, this was a while ago, and it is going to have a major overhaul. I was very high on the Clippers coming into the year. Obviously, they have not panned out the way I thought they would. Teams even like the Pacers are playing much worse than I thought they would. So we're gonna adjust everything. I'm still gonna keep it. So just to explain the tiers, we have champions prediction. So the best team from the East, in my opinion, the best team from the West, and then we have deep playoff run. So teams I think can make a serious playoff run. We have playoffs, 6 teams in here. Play in. So I think if I had to choose like 4 teams from each conference, they would make the play in. Limbo late lottery, 6 teams in this conference, and then AJ DeBonsta, who I think is still the best prospect in this coming up draft. I know a lot of people like Darren Peterson. I know a lot of people like Cameron Boozer. But either one, either one of those players are going to be really good, I think. So these are my tiers. It's going to be the exact same 6, 6, 4, 6, 6, and 2. Um, it's not going to be necessarily conference split. I know I did that last time, but I'm not going to do that this time. And with that said, let's get started. So I'm going to go through the teams as they're the worst team in the league right now, as it currently stands in the NBA, to the best. So we have the Washington Wizards here at the bottom, 3-20. Pretty simple. They're going to stay in AJ DeBonsta. I'm also adjust the teams like where they are in here. I think I'll probably do that as we go. The closest to the tier name being the best team. So actually the Wizards should be really down low. But I think the Wizards still young, still have a lot of interesting players. Malachi Branham, Bialko Abali. They have interesting players on there, especially that I like, but I think they're still very young. Obviously, they have Sar, still very young, and still have a long way to go. The New Orleans Pelicans are next. I thought they would be better, honestly. I think they're starting to look better. At least their prospects are. Jeremiah Fears, Derek Queen. Zion and that whole thing is probably seems like it's done now. Like they're gonna probably move on from him. Just can't seem to stay healthy, which sucks. So that situation sucks. They already fired their head coach, but I really like Derek Queen, and I think he'll be the next guy in New Orleans. Just my prediction. We have the Clippers here as the third worst team in the league right now, with 6 wins and 19 losses. Here's the thing: the Clippers are bad. I'm not gonna put them here. I still think they are better than a bunch of these teams. Like you cannot tell me that the Clippers are worse than the Pacers, that they're worse than the Kings, that they're worse than the Nets. I think they're better than the Hornets. I would say they're on the level of like a Trailblazers, maybe a little worse the way they've been playing. But they still have again. It's so weird. They went 7 games with the Nuggets last year, who went 7 games with the overall, ended up becoming the champions in the Thunder. And literally they brought like everyone back. Batum back Nick Derrick Jones Jr., Chris Dunn, Bogdan Bogdanovic, who they picked up in the offseason. During the season, excuse me. James Harden's back. Leonard was back. Zubac is back. They had added Brooke Lopez. They added Bradley Beal. Sadly, he's out for the year. They added John Collins. You would think they would be better than this, but they ended up getting rid of CP3. It's a big old mess down there. And they own the Thunder's pick. They have, and the Thunder has the Clippers pick next year. So hopefully the Clippers start doing better. I'm going to keep them here for now. I'll see if I change anything up. The Pacers, they're bad. I think it's time for me to admit it that possibly I was wrong about the Pacers. I could see putting them in here, but the way they've been playing, they have not been playing well. Maybe they do a retool year like I thought the Celtics would do, where you don't have Tyrese, you just lost Miles Turner, try to regroup, get a good pick, and then go at it next year. Sacramento Kings, another team I don't think is as bad as their record shows. I'm going to keep them here for now, just as I'm going through this tier list. As okay, I cannot put them in there for some reason. This freaking ad is blocking everything. Let me see if I can. bro. Okay, well, the Kings are going to be up here for now. I think I might put them there anyway. The Brooklyn Nets, they are a bad team, and I have them in here for a reason. They suck. They have a lot of rookies on their team. Hornets, I think they really need to take a long look at themselves as an organization and what they want to do, because Knappel looks good. Brandon Miller can be a nice piece. You know, they kind of whiffed on Tejan Salon, I think, last year. I think they overreached on him. LaMelo Ball is a very talented player, but is he a player that you can build a franchise around? Can he play winning basketball? And that has yet to be seen. Like, he's very talented, don't get me wrong. But shot selection just sometimes feels like sometimes he's just goofing off out there. If they ever made a play-in or like a playoff game, it would be so interesting to watch LaMelo Ball in a playoff series, to actually see, you know, his game in a playoff series. But I think the Hornets possibly may never get there with LaMelo leading the way. That's a question I think they need to have inside their organization. The Trailblazers, they're not as bad as their record shows. They've kind of gone on a low right here. The Jazz, as surprising as they are 9-15, I think they're not that good. And I think, you know, their offense has been really good, but I think they will end up, you know, the losses will start piling up eventually. That's just my personal take. The Mavericks at 10-16, doing a little better than we thought. I'm going to keep them in play-in. So I guess I have to move one of these teams up. Because I have Nets, Hornets, Jazz, Pacers, Pelicans. So I'll move the Grizzlies up. Sure, they can go there for now. Those are going to be my 6 teams on the bottom. And we'll continue going on with this. Clippers are in here. I have the Kings in here. They might have the Trailblazers in here too. So we go on with this list. We have the Chicago Bulls, who had a really good start to the year. I think they were 4-0 or 5-0. Ever since then, it's gone downhill. They still have good players. They have Trey Jones, Josh Giddey, Zach Collins, Patrick Williams, Cody White. So I think they'll figure it out, but I don't think this year is this year for them. Amatis Puzelis, obviously. Milwaukee Bucks. Here's the thing. Giannis is out for another week and a half, 2 weeks, maybe 3. Will he be traded by then? Maybe. Or will they fall behind enough to when Giannis comes back it won't even matter? Possibly. So I'm going to move them down a notch. They started the year better. Even when they had Giannis on the court, they were starting to slow down. And it just doesn't look good. The Grizzlies at 11-14, I think they'll be okay. I'm not going to put them anywhere crazy. I'm going to put them in limbo late lottery for now. We got the Golden State Warriors. Didn't mean to click that. The Golden State Warriors, they're decent. I thought they would be a little better, especially seeing how they played at the end of the year last year when Jimmy Butler got traded during the season, but it hasn't turned out that way. I'm going to keep them where I have them, which I think is play-in. Yeah, I think they can still make the play-in. I don't know if they'd make the play-in, though, just because how good the West is. Like, we're not really talking about it enough. Like, the West has really, 6 really good teams, I think, and it's crazy. Like, the West is so good. The Atlanta Hawks, I think they're good. I think I'm going to keep them in play-in for now. Actually, I'll have to move one of these East teams up, so it could be the Hawks. The Heat, I actually trust the Heat a little more, so that'd be the team I move up. I just trust them a little more. A lot of them have been to finals because Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, so I trust them a little more. The Hawks, especially with the fact that they're playing really well without Trae Young, maybe a little better, it seems like, so that kind of concerns me whether that fit actually works. And I trust the Heat more than I trust the Hawks long term. The Suns playing better, and I'm going to have to move them up. So that means I'm missing a team in the playoffs. So I'm going to have to move one of these teams up. It'll be the Suns, the Mavericks, or the Warriors. Who do I trust more out of the Suns, Mavericks, and Warriors? Let me know down below who you think can make more of a run. For me, I think it's a simple answer. The Mavericks, you could say the Warriors maybe will get better, but the Mavericks don't have Kyrie to start. They've had to deal with injuries. Cooper Flag's getting adjusted, playing much better now. So the more time they have, the better I think they're going to get. Whereas I don't think the same can be said for the Warriors. Maybe even the Suns. Maybe when they get Jalen Green back, that will be big. But I trust the Mavericks, and I think they're a better team than the Suns. Go on, Cleveland Cavaliers. They have been a disappointment, to say the least. I still think they're one of the better teams in the East. I have the Raptors in here. Shoot. So I'm going to have to make some adjustments. Raptors should be playing. So that means I'm going to have to move the Bucks down. Sorry, Bucks. So these 6 teams are set. These 4 teams should be set. So here's where it gets a little tricky, and I don't think much movement will be had, but the Cleveland Cavaliers, Toronto Raptors, 76ers, you can just see they're all in that same range. Even the Boston Celtics and the Orlando Magic. So I'm going to talk about these 5 teams real quick because I'm going to keep 3, there has to be 3 East teams in here, 3 East teams in here. As far as I'm concerned, the Cavaliers, I think, will be better come playoff time. I'm going to trust them for now. So for now, I'm going to keep them here. Same thing with the 76ers. I trust them, especially come playoff time. Joel Embiid gets healthy. I also trust the Celtics. I cannot say the same for the Magic. So I'm going to move the Magic down. I'm going to move the Celtics up, which is crazy to think. But I do think they really have a chance to make some noise in the East because the East is not as strong. So in here, I even have the Pistons. I'm going to have to move them up. Okay, I'm thinking too far ahead. I'm going to take it one team at a time. Minnesota Timberwolves. They're really good. I'm going to have to move them down, though, because I'm going to have to make way for either the Spurs or Lakers in that spot. Spurs, really good. Lakers, really good. Knicks are still my favorite in the East, so just a little spoiler, they're going to stay my team in the East. They're my pick. Nuggets, Pistons, Thunder. So I don't think I really need the standings anymore. It's really coming down to this, and I'm going to start from the top up. So Thunder are obviously the favorites. They played my Spurs tonight, and that will be a really interesting game. I think when we will be back, it should be a fun game. Those are the 2 picks I have. Thunder in the West, I think that's pretty easy. The Knicks in the East, maybe teams buy the hype with the Pistons. Maybe teams trust other Eastern Conference teams like the Cavs or the Sixers or the Celtics. But I really like the Knicks still. In the East, I would have the Cavs, Celtics, and Sixers as those next, 3 teams behind the Knicks. Actually, no, I take that back. The Pistons, I trust them more than the Celtics. Just because I still don't know. I think it's better for the Celtics to try to tank this year and get a good pick because they're not winning the finals. Let's be clear. They can maybe make the playoffs, maybe win a series or 2 in a weak East, but they're not winning the finals. They're not beating a team like the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Lakers, or the Spurs. So those are my 3 teams for the East in here, and then I got my 3 teams in the East here. So there's some adjustment. I need to move a Western Conference team up here. I will say Nuggets are really good. They're my second favorite team in the West. Rockets are really good. I trust them more than these 3 teams right here. So it really comes down to who do I trust more here. When it comes to how they're playing now, I think Spurs are playing better than all these teams, especially without Wembanyama. But if it comes down to a playoff series, who am I taking? I'm taking the Timberwolves over both those teams. Spurs and Lakers are really good. And maybe I'm doing this whole tier list wrong. Let me know down below if I should change the tiers. I think I will change them next time. I don't think they're going to be like conference based because I do have it split between conferences. So West, East, West for the most part. But I think I should maybe change that. Let me know down below if I should, because if it was not based off the conferences, I would have the Cavaliers not up here. I would have the Lakers up here. I'd probably have the Sixers down here too, and I'd have the Spurs up here because I think there's just so many teams in the West that are really good. And that's where I'm going to talk about this to end off the video. These are the 6 teams I was talking about. Thunder, Nuggets, Rockets, Lakers, Timberwolves, Spurs. Those are really good teams right now, and they all pose different things. And honest to God, if I had to pick like a finals champion, if I had to pick like my 10 favorites or my 5 favorites, it would be the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Rockets, the Knicks, and then it would be one of these teams. Or maybe the Pistons, honestly. Maybe even the Cavs. But there's just so many good teams in the West. I think it's going to be so hard for any team to come out of the West. So maybe that helps the Eastern Conference team. Maybe they're a little worn out. And the Eastern Conference team have like a easier path. They're a little fresher. We'll see though. Let me know down below what you agree with or disagree with on this tier list. Let me know how I should change it up, switch it up, and what's your favorite team and where are they in this tier list? And do you think I got their position right? I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Peace. Let's try this again. Peace.